So today I'm going to talk to you about some the Jamboard and the whiteboard tools that are available that might work a little bit better for especially the kids online, but also for the kids in class too. Jamboard is a tool that we actually is actually owned by Google, and it is, oh, there you go. We actually just turned it on for everybody in both of the buildings as another Google option. Okay, so Jamboard is actually part of the Google suite. So it could be used just like every other Google Doc or Google Sheets or Google Slides. It's just another option. So what it is, it's a interactive whiteboard tool. So the kids who have touch screens or touch and pen tools could use Jamboard to more easily do different type of activities. So Jamboard's awesome. So we're going to just talk about where it's at, how to use it, and some ideas of ways you could use it with, especially with Google Classroom. All right, so to find Jamboard, if you go to a new tab in Google, oops, let me share my screen, that'd be helpful. Share. Share the right one? Maybe not. Okay. Do you see a blank screen here with Google?
Yep.
Okay. I'm just making sure it didn't have the little outline around it. Okay, so to find Jamboard, you would just go to the like 9 squares from Google up here in any corner of Google screen. And if you scroll down, you might have to search for it a little on one of these pages at the bottom, but it should look like this. And I don't know if you guys know this, but you can move these around. So I just moved Jamboard higher up on my list so that I could see it more easily. But when you click on Jamboard, it looks a lot like Google Docs and any other thing that you would open in Google Drive. So I'm going to start. The only weird thing about it is to create a new one, it's in the bottom right corner instead of the top left corner. So that took me a second to figure out. Some of these are actually templates I actually found on different places on the internet. So let me go back. Hey guys. So to find Jamboard, we're going to talk about Jamboard first. It's a Google tool. If you click the 9 squares on Google and search for Jamboard, it should be somewhere over in the bottom section, but you could drag it up to the top if you want to use it more often. So on the Jamboard dashboard page, again, how you create a new Jamboard is down in the bottom right-hand corner. There's a little plus sign there, orange plus sign. So if you just click on that once, you'll see, okay, it's a blank page, okay, it's pretty easy. And it's a little different from Google Drawing, which is more like putting together pictures in different ways. That's what I use a lot for my handouts. This is using actual touch and inking and drawing tools. So over here on the left-hand side, you'll see there's some pen tools here. There's different thicknesses, highlighters, types of pens, different colors. There's erasers, there's a select tool, a sticky note tool, add images, there's shapes, and you could actually color the different shapes and stuff like that. And they have some different shapes to choose from, a text box, and the laser tool. So what's nice about this is if you like are doing, I'm doing the same math problem over and over again. I've done this one for years. You could actually draw stuff. You could have kids show their work on here. If you want to put highlight stuff, you could do that and color stuff in. You could erase stuff easily. Again, this is a lot easier if you're using your smartboard, especially because this works really well with the smartboard or the Clever Touch boards, where you could be up at the board using your finger, or even the tools, the pen tools on the smartboard to actually draw. Hey guys. So again, I'm going to just tell you how to get to Jamboard real quick. If you hit a new tab and do the 9 squares at Google, you're going to look for this icon right here that says Jamboard. It might be down a bit, but you could actually drag this up so it's a little closer to the top if you want to use it. When you open Jamboard, it will look like this. This is your dashboard. And then you hit the plus sign to do a new Jamboard. So Jamboards, again, are drawing tools, but you could actually insert pictures of stuff. So you could actually take pictures of equations or word problems or manipulatives or whatever you want. And you could actually upload it to, so for instance, I did have some math problems here that I had already saved from somewhere. I used the snipping tool to get it. So you could actually put this on a Jamboard, share this with the student, and have them show their work on the side with pen or ink to show their work. And then whatever you title it up here is what it's called. So if I say, you know, math problem, I'm gonna put today's date so I know what to type. And I could actually make as many pages on a Jamboard as I want. So you could actually have 1 problem per page and have the kids show their work on 10 problems or whatever. And then you could actually put sticky notes then for in directions, blah, 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 blah. Hey, what are you looking for?
Something with like a headset with a microphone.
Underneath there. But you could put directions on here and just put a little sticky note for the kids, like here are the directions, and have them read it. They could also use the read and write screenshot reader tool to read any word problems or text that you have on the page. You put text. If you're using this for teaching or you want to point out stuff, the laser pointer, I call this the kind of Madden tool. It used to be on the smart boards, but you could actually point out stuff and then it goes away. So it's like watching, you know, commentators for sports. And then you could use, again, the shape tool, and they have a fill button here as well. So you could actually, like if you have multiple choice, you could say circle the correct option, and you could have the kids do that. Fairly easy to use, you know, once you figure out what the tools do. Now, once you do create a Jamboard, okay, it gets saved to the dashboard. So I'm going to refresh this because I just renamed it. There it is. Then if you have a Google, let me go to my Google Classroom. And what I would recommend is if you're going to do a Jamboard, you can make a template and leave space for the kids to actually write stuff. Sorry, Google keeps wanting to type for me. And I'm using my test account right here now. But if I wanted to send this as an assignment to students, I could do create assignment, and I could find my Jamboard here. Jamboards will show up in your Google Drive folder. So there it is right there. And I could say make a copy for every student, just like I could with anything else. When it gets sent to every student then, they could fill it in, turn it in just like a Google Doc, but they'll actually have inked stuff on it, which is kind of cool. And you could do this with pictures. You could do, like, have them do math. You could have them fill out a map for social studies. You could even put down like placeholders for stuff and have them drag stuff to the right spot. So like if you have an outline of a map and then the states, you could have them like move stuff to the right spot on a map. You could do all kinds of stuff. Or if you want them to label stuff on a map with the text tool, they could do that, or with inking. There's a lot of options for this. And here's some like ideas I saw like on a few places, even just doing a check-in with the kids. You could have each kid grab like a sticky note and put whether they got something, yes or no. Another idea was, where's the, let's go back. Like You could give this to like a reflective activity. What are 3 things you learned today in class? At like a wrap up at the end. There was a graffiti wall if you just like want kids to randomly like brainstorm ideas. You could have them all working on the same one at the same time, but they could be like using some text, some ink, and different spots. It's kind of cool. Like, and again, it's not overly complicated. It's just a way for students to actually ink and draw more efficiently than in a Google Doc. Because if you're having stuff put in a Google Doc or even a Google slide that's shared, they have to type. But this allows them to ink, to draw pictures, to highlight stuff, to move stuff around in a just easier environment. And again, they could be all in the same document, or they could be in their own version of each document that they would turn in for a grade. Any questions? Yeah, Mike?
Yeah, do you have those templates that you can share with us, or is there a way to find those?
Yeah, I'll share those with you. Yeah, I just found these online, and where was it at? There's a bunch of templates available. I just have to remember where I found them from. But yeah, there's a ton of them online that, like, why recreate something somebody already created? So I will find a bunch of them and share them with you in a folder then.
You just type in Jamboard templates.
I'm sorry?
Just Google it, okay.
Yeah, if you just Google Jamboard templates.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a ton of stuff.
And I guess another question I have is if you have all your students working on the same Jamboard,
Mm-hmm.
It sounds a little chaotic, but that could also be fun.
Yeah, and it just like a Google Doc, you could see who's doing what.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like there's a little bit like you'll see like a color tag or their name appear in different spots. So it's, okay, what just went down?
Can't be reached.
Maybe that website went down. I hope it's not our internet. And then you could share these with people as well. Like, so if I were to add like some of you guys to this one right now.
Okay.
So, what else is here, Rama? So if I make you all editors of this, you could all be in it right now. And maybe I'll put up, please write your name. And see, I could see who's joining.
Damn it.
So if I write my name somewhere. I did that pretty well for a mouse. Not using touchscreen. There, and see, I see your little icon down there as you're drawing. So there is some, like, they can't just say, oh, I didn't do that.
So can you like, if you wanted to have like the kids like respond to like let's say a short video clip, can you embed a video into Jamboard?
You can't do a video, unfortunately. Okay. It's just, I don't think anyway, I think it's just pictures.
Just pictures, still pictures, okay.
And you could still search for pictures. So if I'm looking for Pearl Jam, there we go. I could post a Pearl Jam picture right in here.
Okay.
And I could turn it and I could layer it and all the stuff I normally do with Google Drawing. So, and again, it works a little better when you're using it in conjunction. If you don't have a touch screen, if you're using your Smartboard or Clever Touch board, to use the touch features or drawing features. Hearts. So yeah, and again, I think they've been since Google bought Jamboard a couple years ago, they've been slowly adding more Google Drive style like tools to it. So I think they're going to be adding more tools to Jamboard going forward.
Okay.
And then what I did a lot was I used my snipping tool to like if I go somewhere, where's my snipping tool? Where'd you go? There it goes. So if I snip something over here, I could come back to my Jamboard and paste it in, just using Control V. And so it's really easy to go and get stuff and put it in, especially if you're copying stuff from a textbook, you know, from your math book, or a picture, you know, from Google Drive of a book that you, or an article, you could snip it really easily.
Is that a plugin, the snippet tool?
No, that's actually part of Windows. If you search for snip in your Windows program list,
Okay.
it's my favorite tool of all time, snipping tool. And again, you could have multiple pages on this, and you could assign different pages to each kid, like you're on page 2, page 3, page 4, and then you do it as almost like a slideshow when you're done. Or you could give them one question per page and assign it to each one their own version of it that they have to turn in for a grade. This would be great for even assessments, doing like just a quick out and have them turn it in. And they could type, or they could, the only thing is they can't use on here is Google Voice typing.
Oh, okay.
So that's the only thing that's not available yet, is Google Voice typing on here. But again, the purpose of Jamboard is to do the more interactive, like drawing or inking versus typing anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Any questions about Jamboard? And again, you would just, again, once you create a Jamboard, make sure you title it, and then you could just add it to any assignment you have in Google Classroom. And it should show up on your list as like, oh, let me send you this, and you can either make a copy or you could have them all edit the same file, just like you would with a Google Doc. So I think they're going to be doing some updates to Jamboard in the coming year, just because so many teachers are like, oh, that's awesome. And with touch screens on Chromebooks becoming more prevalent, I think they're going to be doing a lot of tweaking to Jamboard. So I think it's better for us to learn how to use these tools now. Now, another option besides Jamboard, and actually, Sarah, you might know about this one because lower school uses it. So this one's called whiteboard.fi. And it's a different tool. It's a free tool for teachers. You would just join and, you would just sign up for a new class, and you call your class anything. So let's call it Garza Advisory, because I don't have an advisory. And there's a waiting room. You could do all kinds of different stuff to this if you want security on it. But if I share this with you guys right now, here, where's my email? There it is. Oh, there it is. So I would normally put this in Google Classroom to share with the kids. Julie, Shred.
It must be newer. I did not use it. Sally.
Okay, yeah, I know they were using it this past year. I'm not sure if they used it before that.
Can you send it to me too, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, who'd I miss? Oh, yes,
Jackie.
her. Yes, sorry, missed you.
It's okay, I was late.
There you go. And notice it has a room code up here. So when I go to my whiteboard, basically, let's see. The teacher or the kids should, does it ask you for a code? Oh, there it goes. So I see people start to come into my room. The code's up here if you need it. So this is a great like kind of check-in tool. So if you have this open, you could say like, So the lesson I saw with the lower school is they were working on code breakers, and they were working on words that end in TION. So let's say I want everybody to write a word that ends in TION. And you could draw, I think you could, yeah, draw it in there, or you could type. And it all shows up kind of simultaneously. And I believe you're only seeing your board, right? Very good.
I use text on mine, but I don't see it showing up.
Yeah, and again, yeah, there's Cassie's showing up.
So we can only see our own board. We can't see everybody else's.
Well, for now.
But if you have it up on the board, we could see it.
And I could write something as well. But yeah, I could show it on the board to everybody. Okay. So again, and then I could pick on specific kids. I could download these. I could clear everybody's board. Say, I'm like, hey, we're gonna, and I clear everybody's board. We're gonna do another word. Or draw me a picture of what a flower should have. What are the parts of a flower? And everybody could draw their parts of a flower on this. Again, I don't know if this would be a good fit for upper school. I like Jamboard a little more. But it's a good option if, very good job with your flowers, guys. But it's a good option to kind of capture everybody's stuff at one time really quickly without actually having to create something ahead of time and have kids turn it in, that kind of stuff. And they could only actually affect their picture, not everybody else's picture. So it's a cute little option. There are some other tools out there. Frankly, these are the two best in my opinion. OneNote is still an option for our high school students. The problem with OneNote, as much as I love it, is that it doesn't have a really good way, easy way for them to turn in individual pages. So that becomes problematic because they have to convert it to something else and turn it in, and you have to give it to them as a PDF, and then they print it as a OneNote document. So it's a more of a process for OneNote. Jamboard, I think, is a little easier for that type of work you might want to see on a regular basis turning in.
So if I'm giving a math worksheet, I could already have it in Jamboard. Yep. When I give it to the students.
Yep.
All right, because my thought was that I'd send it to them as a PDF. They print to OneNote, do it on OneNote, convert to PDF to turn it in.
Whereas Jamboard, they would just work on it and turn it in, and you would already have it. Like there's no conversion process, which I like. Perfect. That streamlining of the process a little better.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any questions about whiteboards or, yeah?
Yeah, you probably said this already, but is there a way to download everybody's whiteboard once they're all finished?
Yeah, once they're turned in on Google Classroom, I'm going to close whiteboards.fi. But once it's turned in on Google Classroom, so I have one here. I think I already did. Let me see if I can find it. Jamboard test, yeah. So it'll be here like normal, and I could actually come and see everybody's just like I would with anything else.
Oh, so just like any, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I could see the graded work. So this was Larry Lyons. And again, it doesn't matter how many pages it is. I could see all the pages of it. So this was only one page. But I could grade it just like I would a Google Doc. I could see all the work, all that kind of stuff.
Thank you.
I could add comments. So just like any Google Doc, you could grade it pretty similarly. I'm trying to see if I have another one here somewhere. because I've been testing a lot of stuff this summer. But yeah, so it works grade-wise just the same as a Google Doc for turning it in. It's pretty nice. I definitely recommend test it out, see if you like it. And I'll send you guys a few templates if you're interested.
So you can obviously make a copy so everyone has their own, or you can share one.
Yep. Or you could
That's
just
really
show
cool.
them an example and whatever,
Yeah.
a non-edited
Thank you.
version.
Thanks for sharing this. It's cool.
Sure. Yeah, it's fun. I was glad that they made it part of G Suite. It's I've been hearing good things from other teachers about it for sure.